with TikTok, it would be like, I don't know, like 50,000, 30,000 a day. It was crazy.
That's how fast you were growing?
It was crazy. And it was because of one roller skate video. It is still kind of a risk, but in a way, like I was very, very analytical about the ways in which I decided to detach from something a little bit more traditional and lean into something more untraditional. I hadn't posted any videos talking to the camera on TikTok about beauty. And then one day, maybe like a month or two after I started working there, I made a video talking to the camera, trying out blush for the first time, a blush shade for the first time, and it went viral.
Not a day goes by we interact with the creator who's like, how do I do it? What are the key steps for me to start doing this as a full-time career? What do you think is the key to winning on TikTok in the algorithm? Like, do you have any like hints or things that you think works better?
Yeah.
In TikTok today, there are 3 million affiliates now. And a year ago, it was only like 700,000. TikTok's going to do more than $60 billion in sales this year.
Every single time I've pivoted, people, are always like, oh my God, you went from roller skating to like Buzzfeed to this to beauty. Like the way you pivot, the way you change your niche, it's so good. How do you do it? If like 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I were to ask myself where I'd be, it would never be, like it would never have been here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the next episode of On the Record. I'm your host, Julian Reis, and today I'm very excited to have the one and only Toni Bravo. Welcome to the episode.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited. This is the first time, we've had someone who's a local creator here from LA, and I thought it would be really special, just given what you're doing and how you're blowing up in the beauty space, to really get to know you and your journey. And I think from my perspective, it's been wonderful to see someone like yourself just come through and with such a force, and the content you're putting out is amazing. So we're really excited to have you here and learn about your background and how you got into the space. So why don't we start there? Like, how did you get into this?
Honestly, well, I have lived on the internet forever. So I've always created. I think it's just taken different forms. I was obsessed with making videos for YouTube, but I wasn't allowed to have YouTube. So I would just film them and edit them when I was like 9. And then Vine came around. I did a little short form stint, all of these things for fun, not work. And then I just started filming myself roller skating, I think is what it was. And then that picked up, and then that led to beauty, and now we're here.
Were you like roller skating in like Venice or
Long Beach?
In Long Beach.
Long Beach has a very, very, very rich roller skating community.
It's like roller dance.
Yes, there's a beautiful path along Long Beach that you can skate, but there's a lot of roller skaters in Long Beach. So before I even started filming it, I was skating in Long Beach, and I met most of my like roller skate community very organically. And then we just started filming ourselves during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic. And then things started getting a little wild.
So what happened? Like, how many followers did you have? Like, what were the metrics that suddenly you said, oh my gosh, I'm starting to go viral? Like, what happened?
I was private actually on socials for a while when I first started college, because I was like, this is for my friends, for my family. And then I made it public, started posting. And then I remember, it wasn't like crazy droves of people on Instagram. I guess it's all relative. It would be like a couple thousand every like day or so, which I guess is like that is okay compared to TikTok numbers at the time. This is like 2020. With TikTok, it would be like, I don't know, like 50,000, 30,000 a day. It was crazy.
That's how fast you were growing?
It was crazy. And it was because of one roller skate video. And then I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting.
Was that followers or just the number of likes?
Followers.
Wow.
So TikTok was different, I think, back then. Like TikTok it was really easy to gain really quickly. I'm kind of glad it doesn't work that way as much anymore, because it was just very stark, I think, difference going to bed and then waking up with like 100,000 followers that you didn't have is a little weird. But yeah, I woke up one day and one of my roller skating videos kind of took off, and it's been wild ever since then. And I continued to post roller skating content, and then I actually stopped posting roller skating content for a little bit because I was finishing up school. I started a new job, and then beauty came into the mix very organically, like 2 years after. all very organically. None of this was planned. It was all just like circumstantial.
So take me back. So you went to school, and then after school you got a job. What were you doing? What was your job?
Yeah. So I actually got my first ever, like what I felt like was a real job my junior year of college. So because of COVID, we were kicked off campus my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And then junior year, people started kind of coming back, but I actually moved to LA instead and decided to take the rest of my classes through senior year online.
Okay.
Because I started working at Buzzfeed very shortly for about almost a year. I was like a talent, and we also were able to play around with like producers and come up with video ideas and spearhead series, which was really, really fun. And I mean, I was a junior. I think I was the only person in college in my like entire group and actually working there. So I was like balancing both, which was wild. But I learned a lot about the internet and short form and long form and the longevity of both while I was there. And then I left, finished school, graduated, and the next day I started working at Rare Beauty, which is my first ever like beauty stint
Amazing.
ever.
What a great company.
It was wild. I mean, I was like in my hotel room and I was kind of bored, and I just applied on LinkedIn and got the job, which is
company.
wild. It was the perfect company for me to start off with. And I felt so supported when I was there.
Yep.
And I was only there for a very short period of time. All of this is very quick. I started working there. My official day was like, I think 2 or 3 days after I graduated college. Yep. And I was there for 6 months. And then I went full time.
So you got your full education, and then like,
yeah,
damn it, I can do this
myself. I guess so. Well, all again, none of this planned.
So where does all this risk taking come from? Is there someone in your family that you've learned from?
Well, kind of. And it's interesting because when I say it out loud, it does sound like there's a good amount of risk involved, but there actually wasn't a lot. I mean, it is still kind of a risk, but in a way, like I was very, very analytical about the ways in which I decided to detach from something a little bit more traditional and lean into something more untraditional. Because I think what was helpful was the fact that while I was there for those 6 months, I had kind of already been playing around with it. And I kind of just laid everything out and looked at the offers and opportunities I was getting that I wouldn't really be able to accept while I was there.
Of course.
And measuring both up, it just made sense. As soon as I left, I was signed with the team. So I wasn't like by myself, fending for myself. I don't think I would ever do that. That feels like a little bit more of a risk to me, but I had an agency waiting, a team waiting to really help me out and like spearhead my like own specific career path. So it was all pretty like orchestrated in a way in my brain. It didn't feel like the craziest leap, but thankfully I did have a few months to like.
When you were like contemplating at that time, you obviously started to invest more in yourself, putting out more content. What was your metrics back then? Like how big were your accounts when you took that first leap?
That first leap, I mean, it was instant. I posted a video. My TikTok page actually, right after I left BuzzFeed, I deleted my TikTok. So I wasn't on TikTok because I was just so kind of burnt out a little bit, re-downloaded it for my beauty job.
Yep.
And so this was my first time ever looking at beauty in a short form capacity so consistently. And I was like, okay, this could be fun to post. And I, at this time, hadn't posted any videos talking to the camera on TikTok about beauty. And then one day, maybe like a few weeks after I started maybe like a month or two after I started working there, I made a video talking to the camera, trying out blush for the first time, a blush shade for the first time, and it went viral. And then ever since then, I just continued to make them.
That's
amazing.
Amazing.
It was very serendipitous, and that wasn't the goal. I mean, the reason I posted the video is mainly because I was looking for something that didn't already exist. So I just decided to create it, and I figured it could help someone else, and it ended up helping a lot of other people.
Yep.
And then every single day I just continue to post a new something.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things is there are so many beauty creators out there. There's so many people wanting to be successful and get brand deals. And I feel like not a day goes by we interact with a creator who's like, how do I do it? How do I do this? Like, what are the key steps for me to start doing this as a full-time career? You know, am I an affiliate on TikTok? Should I be making UGC?
Yeah.
How do I build my own personal brand?
Yeah.
Like if you had to give, a few do's and don'ts for these creators who are probably watching you and you're such an aspiring figure for a lot of these new creators, what would you say to them?
Honestly, well, first of all, mad respect, because again, I didn't really come from a position where I was necessarily like trying and like, you know, really trying to make like push and make space for myself in the ways that I think a lot of creators are doing so gracefully now, really like demanding a seat at the table. A lot of this happened in a way where I feel like I didn't even put in half of the work that some of these creators are putting in now, to be completely honest with you, mainly because that wasn't the goal of mine. But if I were to do this all over again in a more, I'm posting this video because I want this to be my career or my job, I think I would follow, I mean, a lot of the things I did organically, being consistent. And also I think what was really important for me was there's a lot of future thinking when it comes to building out your career, especially on social media, which I think is great. But I do think for me, what was really helpful was with that, really cherishing and acknowledging the people that are already there, no matter how small that is. Because when you really think about it, the bigger you get, right, in terms of scale, there's less time and less energy and less opportunity for you to be able to interact with your community in the way that you might be able to when things are a little more smaller scale. So I took full advantage of that and really responding to every comment, responding to DMs, really engaging with the community, because when you really think about it, I mean, the busier you get, that's not really as much of an opportunity anymore. So I think looking back now, I think that was something that I did without really thinking very much about it. That's so
natural
helpful.
To you.
Yeah.
But now you've got so many followers, so many comments, so much interaction. How do you do all of that?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel, well, it's my favorite part. So I do like interacting. That is something I look forward to when I post something. I am looking forward to the ways in which I'm able to interact with my audience. So, I mean, I definitely am not able to respond at the capacity I was before as quickly or as much as before, but I definitely still make an effort. When I do post, I mean, I'll stick around for the first like 5 to 10 minutes to really like engage, and then I kind of hop off just to give myself like brain space. But I'll normally, if I'm posting, I'll stay for like the first 10 to 15 minutes to like
good to see what the responses are.
Yeah, just to be there.
And have some fun with it.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to have fun, right?
That's the whole point.
And, you know, I think what I'm interested in, you know, when you first started getting some brand deals coming through your agencies and things like that, and people reaching out, it must be overwhelming because, you know, I think one, you know, people obviously believe in the way that you're communicating with your audience and managing your community. How did it happen? I mean, obviously you probably remember the first brand deal you got, but now you're probably inundated with brand deals. And I think a lot of people want to know, like, would you take every brand deal that comes across the table? Is there some things that just are no-goes for you? Like, if you don't like the product, will you still do it? Like, where does that line cross?
For me, I mean, it's always been about working with brands that I enjoy. I mean, I personally, with beauty, there's so many products and so many things that I don't really feel like it makes sense for me to push or advocate for something I don't like, because there's so much out there that already exists. It's like there's no scarcity of, I think, variety in beauty. So why lean towards or push something that I don't believe in? So I've always, for sure, even in the beginning, I mean, I definitely didn't say yes to everything. I still don't say yes to everything. I don't think any way for you to say yes to everything and feel authentic about it. So I do think it's good to be very picky, and I've always been very picky from the very beginning. So I think that's been helpful. But I mean, there's so many things that I just personally, beauty-wise, my audience knows I don't like, and I'm very vocal about it. So it just wouldn't make sense if I hopped on and like promoted something I've been very vocal about not liking. So I just try to keep it, I mean, I don't try. I definitely, that's one of the major pillars for me, is using and trying and sharing things I actually believe in, because there's so much.
There is so much. There's so many beauty. I came from Asia where, you know, you could times everything by 10, Korea and China, and experiencing all these different types of beauty brands that, and also they're copying and creating new brands and duplicating brands every single day. And, you know, technology is changing a lot. And but I think you've also been able to find some amazing brand partners like Tower28. We were very lucky to have the lovely Amy on the program, and she was great. And you know, very quickly after, we saw, you know, you, the CEO of Blush, on the billboards. I mean, that must have felt incredible to be, forging that partnership.
Yeah, I mean, it came together very organically. I love Tower28. I love Amy. I love the team. So it came together in the most like serendipitous way. And Blush is kind of where it all started for me in terms of beauty. So very, very extremely full circle.
Oh,
Very full circle.
It's great. And, when you think about your audience and your community and, a lot of creators, we speak to them at Super Ordinary, our business, where we help creators scale products and content. I always ask the question, like, who is your super fan? Where do they come from? What do they like? How do they operate? They're obviously, hanging on for every single post that you put out there. Could you describe to me your super fan?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I've thought about this because I feel like now that I've expanded across different platforms, it looks so different on every platform, which is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a cohesiveness, but there is like enough slight differences for me to really be intrigued enough to continue to exist in different ways on different platforms. Like for instance, on short form, I mean, it ranges from people that are very novice in beauty to people that are makeup artists looking for, swatches or the way things look on my skin for their kits. And then there are people that are just starting off with makeup, don't know what they're doing at all. And then there are people that sit somewhere in the middle and just have like a really fun kind of relationship with beauty that neither leans like super new or super, super experienced, but somewhere in between. And I noticed that in my comment section, for sure, it definitely bounces around. When I started posting, I was like, definitely, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm very beginner. Yeah. So I thought all of my audience would be like beginners like me. And it's definitely expanded beyond that, I think. And then on platforms like YouTube and Substack, it's beauty leaning, but not beauty focused, which is really, 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 really cool. That audience is a little slower, a little bit more, I think, particular about who they follow and why. So those audiences to me feel a little bit more, I think for me, feel difficult to obtain, which make me feel very grateful to have. I think on short form, every single time you're putting out a short form video, it's honestly like an audition to the algorithm, right? You're really trying to like prove that you're interesting to people every single time you post. But on the slower platforms, it feels like they're there.
Yeah, I think YouTube, the algorithms on YouTube and YouTube Shorts are very different to what they were previously. Yeah. And I think the competition to get the eyeballs on TikTok, it's all about entertainment. So what do you think is the key to winning on TikTok in the algorithm? Like, do you have any like hints or things that you think works better?
Yeah, I think specifically for TikTok, I think what makes you stand out is not being influenced by TikTok. I think when you have outside influences, like when people who very clearly make long form content or are writers or create in a different capacity than just short form, I notice it in their short form content and that automatically draws me in. Versus somebody who maybe gets all of their inspiration from TikTok, it's all kind of the same in a way, which isn't bad or good. It's just the same. Mm-hmm. So I think the easiest way to stand out is to allow your inspirations to come from not just TikTok. And I think it's very clear when you can tell someone doesn't spend, all of their research time just on TikTok. They're on YouTube. They're watching movies. They're outside. They're creating long form.
It's true. You have to be a distribution channel across all the different platforms. We're continually seeing different types of content, different types of format. I think the winner that we're continually looking at is new forms of content format that excite the audience and how to integrate brands within that content.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the trend in micro dramas and these micro series where they're 1 to 2 minute drama shows?
Yeah, I've seen those. I saw a video of somebody kind of dissecting that being a very new like avenue for ads and campaigns, which I think is really, really fun. I'm thinking about like kind of like the super highly produced, high quality. Yeah, and I think it's interesting.
Have you ever acted in one?
I've never acted in one. No, I've never acted in one.
Would you like to?
But I would. I would. And the thing is, anything that pushes me outside of something that I'm so comfortable with and used to, because I mean, short form, all of this can feel very the same.
It's the same.
All the time.
I mean, I give you so much credit. You get up every day, you go out and you go to work, you're creating exciting content. It's a lot of work, and especially that you're preparing products, the storyline, what you're promoting, why it's good. It's not easy. And how do you stop from like getting burnt out? I mean, you
honestly,
what's the trick there?
I think what's really helpful for me, a lot of my friends and my community that I'm around don't exist in the same world I do, which is really helpful.
That's helpful.
It's really, really helpful. I have friends in this space, but what's very different also about beauty and the way I was introduced to social media was with the rollerskating community. We were all friends before we started posting. So we would hang out before we started posting. Now, a lot of the people I meet because we've all been posting. So it's a little bit different. It's a different kind of dynamic. It's a different kind of community, I think. So I've found that when I was roller skating, why that felt so replenishing all the time was because the community I was consistently around were people that already existed before.
Yes.
So I think for me, what's helpful is having people around me that aren't just doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nowhere near in what you're doing. But for me, my self-help, my therapy is like having an animal, like I have a dog, and it's always walking the dog just gets you out of the office and outside. And a breath of fresh air.
You need to, and you work from home especially, or you're like, I mean, to be honest, one of the things I did enjoy when I was in a more traditional job was definitely like a few days a week, getting up and getting ready and going somewhere. This job, you do have to create that for yourself in a way, which is very, very important. You can't slack on that.
Yeah. Well, you're working so hard, and sometimes when you're doing so much right here, right now, sometimes it's hard to tell the wood from the trees.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, you must be thinking about where does Toni Bravo go in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Because beauty is such a big industry. You found your lane. Do you want to create your own brand? Do you want to do other things? Like, what's next for you? Like,
I think about that all the time. But what's really interesting is, I mean, if like 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I were to ask myself where I'd be, it would never have been here. Like, I was not a makeup girl 3 to 5 years ago. I'd wear like mascara on a Saturday if I was feeling crazy. So honestly, 3 to 5 years from now, I think beauty will always be like a good underline for me, no matter what, just because I genuinely have an interest in beauty and getting ready and beauty as a ritual. So I do think that'll always be like a baseline for me. But I see myself leaning into just lifestyle overall. I think really every single time I've pivoted, people are always like, oh my God, you went from roller skating to like Buzzfeed to this to beauty. Like the way you pivot, the way you change your niche, it's so good. How do you do it? And it's actually so like people give me credit for it in a way where I'm grateful for it, but also like it's so much easier than you think. I honestly just create whatever I'm genuinely interested in at the time, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
I think also, it's so nice to hear that, you don't pigeonhole yourself in a certain box. And I think too many people say, I'm in beauty, I can stay in beauty for the rest of my life. I mean, look at yourself. You weren't from a beauty background. You just found an interest. And I think the audience also appreciates that you grew up as a novice to where you are now. And that's inspirational. I think that you've done a great job there, and I think you shouldn't pigeonhole yourself. You can continue to take risks, and life's short.
There's too much, and there's too much I'm interested in. I love like home. I love fashion. I love beauty. I love lifestyle. I like creating. I do think I see myself definitely, as much as I love short form, and I'll always create short form. Long form for sure, I think, is where I'd like the majority of my content to live, ideally, just because I enjoy long form. I enjoy the way I'm able to express myself through long form. So ideally, that would be my like main bread and butter, but short form would always be there for sure. But in terms of content wise, Who knows?
Who knows? Exactly.
Who knows?
Well, we're going to get you on a microdrama. That's one of my goals today.
I'm into it.
You can play the villain or you can play...
And I did theater in high school.
Did you really? Okay. That's a good fun fact.
I was a theater kid.
So one other question I had for you is, because you see so much happening in beauty from the front row seat, there's so many brands, things are changing, there's so much saturation, so much competition. And, you hear about brands selling for $1 billion and whatnot. So, from where you sit, and you see some brands are finding it hard to survive too because there's so much competition. What are the trends that you see currently in the beauty market from the brand point of view in terms of growth? Or do you think the consumer's finding it harder to purchase products because the cost of purchase is much higher these days?
Yeah, no, definitely yes to that. But I think in terms of brand, especially in beauty, I think I've noticed a trend that I've kind of liked, or something that's always existed, but I'm seeing more of now, are brands that are being created to be bigger than just their products. So building worlds that don't feel reliant on trends or what's popular, but rather their own complete world. And I think those are the brands I find to be the most intriguing right now, because there's a lot of beauty brands that are, emerging that are great and definitely lean heavy into trends, what's trending, what everyone else is into. But I'm seeing a lot more brands, I think, getting recognition for creating their own worlds and really being like pioneers in their own space, which is interesting because I do think building out a world can lean into like interior and design and just creative marketing that isn't just
it's more
a trending audio.
What's an example of a brand that you think that's created its world?
Honestly, there's a family of like brands right now in my brain that I've definitely been just like really admiring. So like Rhode, Merit, Say, feel like they're all in their own world. And there's a new brand right now, fragrance brand called Lore, that's recently come out. I believe it comes out in the next few weeks. And the marketing is just beautiful.
How do you spell Lore? Is it Lore?
Lore, yes. Yeah. And there was a few people actually that I knew from the team that used to work at Rhode that have moved over to create this. And it's
Melanie Bend.
Yes.
We used to have an office right next door to her.
Oh, I love that.
Great.
I have been obsessed. They sent me the fragrances and there's like a zine that comes with it, and beautiful, like just amazing. Beautiful marketing. And I do really just buy personally, as someone that consumes so much beauty and I'm sent so much beauty, I really admire brands that lean into creating a world and not just the specific product.
I love that. No, that's amazing. And I think fragrance is perfect for that, because
I agree.
Fragrance you can encapsulate.
There's so much play.
There's so much story.
Yeah. I agree. Which
it's still probably one of the fastest growing segments out there.
I know, which is exciting. And I love a fragrance.
What's your favorite fragrance?
Right now, oh my God, I have so many.
I'm scared to look at your medicine cabinet.
No, it's like it's consumed a lot of my life. Right now, I bounce back and forth between so many. I Don't Know What by Dias and Durga has been one of my favorites recently.
What scent from Dias and Durga do you like?
I Don't Know What.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's so good. I
met those guys probably 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, when they first started the brand, and I Don't Know What, and there's another scent they do, Dias and Durga. They've got the original one, the gold label. That's great. But I don't know what's
so good.
That's probably one of the best ones.
It's so good. And that's been like an intoxicating one. And there's a few Lore scents that I like as well, just because I definitely lean towards like gourmands. But I like kind of like a skin musk as well. So that's kind of why I've leaned into I Don't Know What and a lot of Lore scents, because they're just fun and dynamic. But it switches every day because I've so many.
Would you like to do your own fragrance at some point?
Yeah. I mean, never say never. Never say never.
What would you call it?
Ooh, that's honestly, okay, you know what? I think about this a lot.
I know what.
Because I Don't Know What just made me like, whoa, like you can really, but also Lore has a scent. I'm blanking on the name, but it's called like something but nothing, something like that.
Yeah.
But just, I like the idea of the names being kind of like phrases.
Well, because, the brand is centered around music as well, which I think
That's what I've heard. I watched a whole breakdown video after I got the scent because originally I was sent it when they did a collab, like a hair collab. And I was like, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is it. They've created, again, a really great example of, I think, a brand creating a world,
Yeah.
which I think as a creator, I'm so like, there's so many products that I'm sent and so many things I'm being told to try. So I see a lot of the same every single day. So that's what makes those kinds of brands stand out to me.
Well, I think music is very special because you've always got to tie it back to music. And music's the thing that I always go back to. Growing up listening to, old 90s R&B, and that's like my favorite. And, we always have music on in the house at all time. It's really great. But I think what was special about these beauty brands that are bringing it back to music, like and all these musicians are endorsing beauty brands, I'm creating their own beauty brands, whether it's Beyonce or Fenty with Rihanna, there's so many. So it's super exciting.
I love it. I like it. I love it. I love it when a beauty brand or a beauty product is tied back to something that's not just beauty. Again, just because I'm so you're in it, and I've only been in it for 2 years now, so I can't imagine the people that have been in this business for as long as they have been. Because I'm already like, can I see something new, something different? I'm like always craving something a little bit against the regular kind of norm of everything else. So I'm always excited to see something different.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it though. So I've been receiving some, I've been introduced to some really cool brands lately. So
amazing. One question I have for you, who is your favorite creator to watch today?
I think about this because I am asked this pretty often. And I will say short form wise, very different than long. I've been consuming a lot of long form content actually. I put myself on like short form timeout the last like 3 months because I thought I was consuming way too much short form content. So now I love
You're back
YouTube.
in?
Not quite yet. I'm still in the YouTube train, but my favorite YouTube creators are actually, weirdly enough, the ones I don't remember their names. I don't remember their names, but I click on their videos because their thumbnail and the title is always something like obscure or different. And the YouTube algorithm has been so good at just feeding me content from creators that maybe have like 2 videos on their page.
Amazing.
Maybe they have 1 video on their page.
And what are they doing?
Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes they're sitting around the house and they're literally just, it's cinematic in a way that feels so peaceful. And they're like 30-minute long videos.
Oh my God.
And sometimes they're doing something and sometimes they're doing absolutely nothing.
Oh my gosh.
I've watched a lot of creators actually. I mean, a lot of them are directors too, some of them. And they'll create like the most like obscure green screen videos where they're just like, I mean, creativity is different on YouTube. And I'm fed these people and then I never see them again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of love the fact that I took what I needed from this. I'm inspired. And YouTube said, okay, on to the next. But they continue to feed me creators like that. But I've watched a lot of interior design people on, because I'm in like my interior design world.
Yeah.
I love Paige Wassel on YouTube. She does like really cool interior design videos in a way that like feels entertaining, but not intimidating.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, I love, honestly, yeah, so many of my favorite YouTube creators, I really don't even remember their names. They just show up and I click on the video because YouTube's gotten so good at knowing what I like. And I sit for 20 minutes with them and then I never see them again.
Yeah.
It's kind of like having a conversation with someone like on a train or like at an event and you never see them again, but you remember that conversation. Those are my favorite kind of YouTube videos now.
It's so good because, how you pivot between short form and long form. I like how you said you gave yourself a timeout. I actually now have to lock away my phone at night so I don't pick it up and start scrolling through TikTok.
Smart.
It's so bad.
You have to charge it in another room.
Yeah, charge it or throw it.
Yeah, you have to chuck it. I've learned that I can't start my day. The first like hour of my day can't be on social media. Yeah. That's been very helpful.
I certainly think that going back in time, I wish I never gave the children social media until they're much older.
Yeah.
And, now my children, I've got 3 boys, and they're creators in some respect. One's a musician. He's a performer.
Wow.
He's 20 and he's on tour. And
oh my goodness.
The 16-year-old creates and makes his own clothes, and they're very creative. And I think one thing that's great about being in LA, you get exposed to so many creators here.
So many.
And one of our friends is a stylist, and he's an amazing stylist. He's Jason Bolden on Instagram, and
nice.
He styles all the big celebrities. And watching these creators from do different things.
Yeah,
I love watching one of family and friends do it, and watching younger creators come up through the ranks. And
I'm always curious, like, what's your or who have been your favorite like short form creators on your end? Like, I don't know what your For You page looks like.
Yeah, my For You page is funny enough, so funny. A lot of it was about beauty, because that's what we've been involved in. We've been doing this for a long, long time now. But I always am amazed, like the amount of people. In TikTok today, there's 3 million affiliates now. And a year ago, it was only like 700,000.
Really?
And it's grown and exploded. And we work with over 1 million of these affiliates, daily, working with brands and helping brands find the right affiliates. And I'm just amazed how, quickly, people kind of like poo-pooed the whole social commerce trend in the US, because China was so big, and everyone's like, why aren't we as big as China? But people forget, like, TikTok's going to do more than $60 billion in sales this year.
TikTok's massive.
It's kind of big.
It's massive. It's kind of a little bit.
It's a little bit, yeah. So I think the dirty little secret is that it's really it's moving a lot quicker, and the time is now.
I agree.
And people that can learn from your experience, I think that's really special, because I do think that it's going to be harder and harder for the younger generation to get jobs.
I'm sure.
And they have to embrace this.
I'm sure.
Just come on.
And my favorite kind of short form creators are the ones that, honestly, anyone that isn't, I don't know, I feel like these days, sometimes I'll get on my For You page and I'm seeing more content about like how to make content than actual content, which is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I think that's okay. I think it's great to share tips and tricks.
Yeah.
I think that's great. But I also think sometimes when you there's a lot of, I think,
overthinking,
analyzing and overthinking and thinking about yourself a little too much, which if that's how I came at it, I would not continue because I'd be nervous. And then I think it just makes it bigger than what it is. So my favorite kinds of creators, I'm one of my mutuals, Mickey. There's also like a girl on TikTok that like dresses up like the Lorax that has like a full-time job, and she's so unserious. And I love the unserious creators. I like people that don't feel like I'm being fed something that you sat and put into Google Sheets to like feed me to consume. I want it to be something where you put up the camera, you create it because you wanted to create.
Yeah, and
I think that I love that. That's my favorite kind of create. Because granted, yes, everyone needs a place to be able to learn how to create, but I feel like sometimes when it becomes your content to talk about making content, I feel like if I were to start that way, it'd be very hard to get out of that, right? Because people are there to learn from you, not necessarily to be inspired by you. So it really depends on like the lane that you want to go down. And some people want to go down that lane, which is great. They kind of want to take on the teacher role, but I find that I don't think that's where they actually want to be, but that's kind of what they're building for themselves.
Exactly. They're building for something they don't really want to do.
Exactly. So instead of just doing it. And so I think for me, I really admire the people now that are just like, I wanted to make this, so I did.
And guess what? Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Amazing. And one more question that I want to ask you was, when you're building your business and you need a team around you, how do you think about hiring people, outsourcing? What are the key things that you think about when you're, because you're busy working? What's the support team look like around you?
Honestly, well, First off, like I think I love doing everything myself. If I could, I would. But you realize very quickly that if you want to grow, you have to learn how to delegate. So that's been really great. And that's been a skill I would say I've been really good at over the past year.
That's great.
I think for myself, there are certain things where I just will always do myself, like editing my own videos. That's something I've tried, the whole editor route. Not my vibe. Not my vibe. And I get why people do. It's efficient. Not my vibe. And I've tried, you know what? And I was like, you know what?
You know what you're good at.
I know what I'm good at and I know what I enjoy doing. And I enjoy
Exactly.
doing that.
Yeah.
But in terms of building out a team, I mean, thankfully, a lot of it has happened very organically and through community. So I do have people that I consider beyond peers in this space that are actual friends of mine that have been really helpful to bounce back ideas from. We share experiences and we give each other recommendations. And I think a lot of it is word of mouth, which is very, very helpful when it comes to building out teams, is having kind of like having somebody tell you that these are great people, this is a great team, this is a great agency. It puts you at peace so much more. But that's also why community is so important. Again, where I've spoke before where I said, a lot of the people in my like day-to-day life, they're not in my world, but I have enough where it's like I have somebody to go back to. I'm like, hey, what do you think about these people? Like, what's your opinion on
Because they've got no dog in the race as well.
Exactly. They know what's up
Yeah.
and they know exactly where I'm coming from, which is helpful. But word of mouth, I think, is the best way for me, I've found, is utilizing community when it comes to team building. So not going in fully blind has made it really easy for me to delegate in a way that feels like I'd be in good hands.
Yeah, well, it's good. I think, whenever I can help you, I'm excited for your future. I mean, it's so exciting to watch everything you've accomplished in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for your future. One of the things we like to do here on the record is we give a vinyl of an album that we're excited about. Today.
Oh, wow.
But you, Solange.
Oh, lovely. Oh, my goodness.
I'm not sure if you got a record player, but
I do.
You do?
I actually don't think I have any vinyls for it, but I do have record player.
Do you really? Well, you're one of the few.
Wow.
Interesting. Like most people that buy records, I think 50% of them don't have record players. So you
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I'm like on the other side. It's pretty, so I had to get it.
Oh, really?
I knew at some point I would get a vinyl to use it with. It's all about manifestation. So I think, wow. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for joining today. It's so lovely meeting you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in today. Please leave your comments below and hit subscribe on any of the platforms that you follow us on.